Apparently, you can milk a species of cockroach called Diploptera punctata, which is gross, but intriguing. But the amount of milk you could get from one cockroach is negligible, and what if there's a nuclear apocalypse and cockroaches are the only thing around? How many cockroaches would it take to get 1 cup of cockroach milk? And how much time and labor would that take? And what is the nutritional value of something like that? Very normal questions. I'm also procrastinating on my data science assignments, and I realized that I can use the skills I learned from class to answer my dumb cockroach milk questions. Okay, so this is my notebook. These are the sources where I got my numbers from, right over here. First, I'm going to import matplotlib for visualization and graphs and stuff like that, and also import numpy for calculations. So for the first question was, how many cockroaches does it actually take to fill 1 cup? So it turns out that cockroach milk comes in a crystalline form, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to pretend it's a liquid. So based on this one source, it seems like you need 10 cockroaches to produce 0.5 milliliters of milk. So that would mean that it would take 20 cockroaches to produce 1 mil, and a standard cup is 240 milliliters, and apparently it takes 4 hours to milk a cockroach. It's quite a lot of time. I also calculated for working hours and working days per year, and if you do all the math, it turns out that you need 4,800 cockroaches to get 1 cup of cockroach milk, 19,000 hours of human labor, which translates to 2,400 days and 9.2 years. That's a lot of labor. And just to visualize that absurdity, I'm gonna do what we Americans do and measure against everything except the metric system. So in comparison, there are 1,600 steps in the Eiffel Tower, 1,200 pages of War and Peace. Apparently the world record of hot dogs eaten is 83, which is cool. There are 416 passengers on a 747, and here is the 4,800 cockroaches for 1 cup. All right, so moving on from there, I wanted to look at the nutritional comparison, and I got my numbers from these sources. Okay, so I also wanted to compare it to just the regular whole milk and oat milk. So here are the numbers. So apparently 1 cup of cockroach milk will give you 700 calories compared to the 149 of regular milk and 120 of oat milk. And so for protein, you get 45 grams of protein, which sounds like a lot, especially compared to the 8 grams that you get from cow milk and 3 from oat milk. And for fat, you get 34 grams of fat compared to the 8 grams in cow milk and 5 in oat milk. So I feel like that would be really good for the gym gains, but I don't really know much about that. Okay, so how much labor would this take per calorie? So for 700 calories per cup, we're gonna take the total hours that we calculated earlier and divide it by the calories per cup and do a bunch of other calculations. And I found that you would need 24.4 hours of labor per calorie, which is a lot. And to hit your 2,000 calorie daily goal via cockroach milk, you would need 54,857 hours of milking, or it would translate to 26 working years of labor for just a single day of eating. So the verdict is you should probably just eat a sandwich or something. This would take way too much time. So what if you need to scale this up and supply, I live in Boston, so what if we wanted to supply just Boston with cockroach milk for a day? So Boston population is 675,647. So it turns out that to supply Boston with cockroach milk for just 1 day, you would need 8 billion cockroaches, I think, and which is about 0.8% of all of Earth's cockroaches. It would take 32 billion hours of labor, and which is 15 million working years of labor. To put that into comparison, to watch the entirety of Grey's Anatomy would take 386 hours, and it would take 84 million rewatches in order to get that much cockroach milk. So in conclusion, we learned that it takes 4,800 cockroaches to fill 1 cup of milk. That cup takes 19,200 hours of human labor, or about 9.2 working years. But the milk is pretty nutritious. It's about 700 calories, 45 grams of protein, and it contains all 9 essential amino acids. It also has 4.7 the calories and 5.6 times the protein of cow's milk. And it'll also take the equivalent of 84 million Grey's Anatomy rewatches of time to make enough cockroach milk for Boston.
And now you know. Why did I do this?